Hello, this is Michael W. Ford. It has been a little while since I've presented a video, but I am working on quite a few projects, and some of the magics involved and initiatory processes take some time and some indwelling and so forth. So forthcoming, you will see a work on the Testament of Solomon, the demonology, and some of the magical concepts presented in a Luciferian way. Also, you'll see a forthcoming grimoire on Hecate or Hekate, and some of the underworld traditions associated with necromancy and Greco-Roman magical practices. Tonight, on the new moon, I often have continually different specific workings going on over a period of time. But tonight, I wanted to show just something very simple that I'm doing, and it's centered around understanding the Egyptian concept of magic, which is called Heka. Now, Heka is a creative life force that makes the ordered world possible. So if you consider concepts like quantum mechanics, quantum physics, energy, atoms, and all of those things that science is offering theories and new knowledge of, you can begin to bridge across and find the parallels between the concept of Heka or magic and science. And this is one of the key aspects of which Luciferianism is encouraged to expand upon and embrace, no matter what tradition you're interested in or way of practice. Heka is associated also with vital energy, and as vital energy, Heka permeates the cosmos, enabling the cycles of nature, animating all that grows, not only within the natural world, but also within. Now understand, in the ancient world, the supernatural and the mundane or natural were not disconnected. There was not supernatural versus there was one concept, and that one concept is based around our natural order, what we see daily, but also the things underneath or behind or unseen, which dually affect life and this world. Heka is called the Ka, which is vital life, the vital life force energy, or the Ba, physical manifestation of the sun god himself, Ammon. Now, all deific masks, all deities of ancient Egypt possessed Heka as residing in, as it's conceptualized, within their belly or in their utterances. So the use of word, chant, mantra, the way you name and command something, that is an utterance. You give it power or diminish it by speaking. The gods draw upon this force to regenerate creation, or bring about at will a change in the course of events. Hekau. Now, Heka is touchable by not just whether you believe in deities or not, but If a deific mask represents a specific type of energy, a specific type of occurrence, or a specific conceptualization, be it abstract or not, then the Luciferian, the Black Adept, the Black Magician, whatever you want to call yourself, you access that power, energy, and you may shape it and do so in your own way, to your own ends. Now, Hekau is the application of Heka, much like magic. Heka was directed in ritual via interplay of word, action, and implement in relation to the ritual's purpose, so that methodical, ritualized action directs, binds, and sends forth that energy, builds it. And that's within the interplay within our subconscious and our conscious minds. Concept I have written about extensively, which there's a big focus on in my work, the daemon. The same thing. That's the kind of mediary between your conscious and your subconscious, but also that aspect you call deific mask outside our casual time. The concept of Heka in ancient Egyptian magic and religion is underlined by that connection between will, desire, belief, and also found in other ancient Near Eastern religions. Pretty much any ancient religion or magical tradition. Mesopotamia, for one, with the Kasapu, or the warlock, the witch, Kishpu, sorcery, witchcraft. It's all underlined by a magical process of commanding your will, controlling energy, binding it, bringing it to you, manifesting it, directing it out. Also, the interplay between predator and prey, devouring energy, consuming energy, or being consumed yourself. There is no middle of the road in that area. The balance is create, destroy, drain, and give. With that said, tonight's very simple offering is based around my devotions towards Lilith, Hecate, Obizalth, Lilitu, the dark, necromantic, and vampiric aspect. But my offering has already started with an incense offering outdoors. No altar needed. You'll see the altar in a second. A simple offering, a libation, using a raiton shaped in the form of my favorite classical devil head, and a Azrael, or angel of death, or reaper, Anku, Astaviad, votive candle offering. And this is how I do this in a very simplistic way, and it's towards the gods, deities, devas, demons of the night, and towards renewal, rising, becoming. Now, that type of offering is pretty run-of-the-mill, simplistic. It can get as elaborate or as ceremonial as you wish. I do these often when I have specific time constraints. However, something that is still very close to me, much as the temple is in the mind. Now, something I was renewal, or the concept of the serpent, was when I spent my anniversary and my brother-in-law's wedding in New Orleans in the past week, and got to spend a lot of time in various places in the French Quarter, and also some time in the #1 cemetery which I have extensive footage of to utilize for different types of necromantical workings. So I just wanted to share this, and hope you find it at least interesting enough to understand that you can do anything within the concept of empowerment through will, desire, belief. Magic, Heka, is within and outside of you. Use it well. Good night. So the offering filled with a clear liquid being water. I'm going to take this out, and you can see a gargoyle, which I've had for quite a few years. To the gods of the night, Heka, Hekau, Heka Estep Bibilo. To those of night, Hekade, Ilitu, by Luciferian path, I offer to thee libations of thanks to the mighty dead. So it shall be. Come thou legion before me, my brothers, my sisters. Hail. And that is a simple offering, utilizing an offering cup, chalice, whatever you want to call it, a phial, bowl, and to the candle of the dead.